Are you free? Like, you ever just ask yourself, what does freedom feel like? And not in the textbook version or what the dictionary says it is, which is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. So, what does liberation feel like? Because here we are, it's another Juneteenth, and I can't help but sit with this question, especially in the year that we've been having. Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Be Well Sis podcast. I am your host, Dr. Cassandre Dunbar. How has life been treating you? But most importantly, how have you been treating yourself? So, this episode is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a reflection on Juneteenth, the movie Sinners that was released back in the spring, and what does joy and freedom look like in a world that really does nothing to support that, but really demands just for us to simply survive. So let's get into it. So back in 2020, Juneteenth was declared to be a national or federal holiday. To give you a quick little recap about Juneteenth, it actually marks the day in 1865 when enslaved people in Galveston, Texas, finally got word that they were free. Over 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Wild, right? But also not that wild. Because when we think about freedom in this country, especially Black freedom, it has always been delayed, distorted, surveyed, and conditional. You can be free, but only if you're not too loud, only if you're not angry, only if you're twice as good, only if you're grateful, only if you don't rest. So, Juneteenth is a celebration, absolutely, but it's also a reminder that we've never been given freedom. We've always had to claim it, and claiming it isn't over. So, let's put a pin there and let's talk a little bit about the movie Sinners. Sinners is a film by Ryan Coogler that's been making waves since its release. It was released back in the spring and it is set in 1932 Mississippi. And ever since I saw the movie, I've been thinking about it at least every day. There's something that just reminds me of one of the themes of the film, which is very, very layered. And while the film is a horror, it's not a horror in the traditional sense of a horror. Like it's not like Mike Myers type spooky. It's spooky for a couple of reasons. Mainly for me, because these people, the black folk in this town were battling two forces, one supernatural and the other one the delusion of white supremacy, right? Um, and one of the things that I think about a lot is I think about how it delves into the themes of cultural appropriation and the commodification of black art. So Remick is the main or one of the main bad guys, right? He is the main villain. And he isn't just a vampire. What he symbolizes is the historical forces that have drained Black culture for profit while offering absolutely nothing in return. And the film uses vampirism as a metaphor for how Black creativity is often consumed and repackaged by others, stripping it of its original context and its meaning. And while reflecting on sinners, I also can't help but think about how Black women in particular have been policed for expressing themselves, be it through music, dance, or even just existing in joy. And the film's portrayal of the juke joint as a space of liberation resonates with the ongoing struggle to carve out spaces where Black joy isn't just surveyed or sanctioned. So when we talk about freedom and joy, Sinners challenges us to consider who gets to be free, who gets to express joy without any consequence, and how do we protect our cultural spaces from those who seek to exploit them. So let me tie it back together. So let's talk about the present. 2025 has been a lot, and that is such an understatement. Everything feels more expensive because it absolutely is, whether it is food, whether it is housing, even just our joy. AI is replacing jobs. Student debt is still haunting many of us. And somehow we're expected to not only keep it together, but to actually smile through it. through all of the bullshit for social media, for our workplaces, and maybe just to keep a semblance of somewhat normalcy for the children that we're raising. We're burnt out. We're grieving collectively. We're grieving individually. And we're still being gaslighted into thinking that it's our fault. So, as I reflect on the life that I live, I often, not often, but more recently, I've been often asking myself, am I actually free? Like, are we free? Or are we just well decorated captives? Captives to capitalism, captives to the patriarchy, captives to the delusion of white supremacy, captives to this machine that encompasses all of those things. And that's not to be dramatic. I'm not a dramatic girl. It's just to be so real because the kind of freedom that we need right now isn't just legal or political, it's also emotional, it's also spiritual. It's that nervous system level of freedom that many of us do not have. And that is why this summer I have been talking so much about joy and the Summer of Joy series. It is not meant to be this cute little self care moment, it is meant to be rebellion against all of the systems that hold us captive. Because Black women's joy, Black people's joy, Black children's joy, Black joy is absolutely radical. It's disruptive and it is resistance. So, with that, this summer, I am leaning into the things that make my soul breathe, that help me to feel expansive, that help me to feel unchained and free, and to define what does freedom actually look like and feel like for me. So it's the little things and it's the big things. Little things like gardening. Even though I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about or what I'm doing when I'm in that garden. It means taking long walks with my kids and being more playful. It means caring for my body in a way that isn't about being vain. It's about just taking care of myself and showing myself that I deserve to also be cared for. It's also saying no without apology, standing firm in that no. And it's also letting things be easy because I'm the type to make things hard because hard is what I know. Um, because honestly, joy really isn't frivolous. It is absolutely our medicine. So this summer, I don't want us to just survive. I want us to thrive. So this is your Juneteenth reminder to really examine what is freedom for you. Are you free? Are we free? Right? And I want you to make room to thrive. I want you to examine your life for real, and take inventory, take stock. Do you feel free? What can you do to help your freedom if you don't feel free? So, I want us to ask ourselves a couple of things. These are the questions I want you to ask yourself as you journal, as you meditate, as you go on your walk. I want you to ask yourself and ask your friend, ask your neighbor, as they say in church. What does liberation feel like in my life? What am I reclaiming? What am I releasing? And how can I root my joy, not in guilt, but in my deserving? Because you absolutely deserve it. Not someday, today, right now. So that is the episode for today. As always, thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad you're here. Be well, sis. Thank you for listening to this episode of Be Well, Sis. If you'd like to get in touch with us, there's a link in the show notes. Be Well, Sis is hosted by me, Dr. Cassandre Dunbar, and produced by Edit Audio. Don't forget to hit follow so you never miss an episode. Until next time, be well, sis.